Hi, it's Claire Riley, entrepreneur, and today I'm going to talk about words and the words that you use and how influential they are, even though you might not even realise that they are, but they are. And I feel like I've only learnt this over the past 18 months, but I feel like I'm more acutely aware, hi Andy, of it since having children as well, because I think I'm thinking about it often as well. So, how would you feel if I said to you that actually you could influence a situation by words that you use, even if you're not talking to that person? And it sounds really crazy. It sounds like some kind of magic, I know, but I think it's real. And I think, I could be wrong because I haven't looked it up, I heard it, but when we speak, something happens to like the particles in the air. Basically it affects change in the movement or something. Anyway, it does something, and so it is, I think saying it out loud does actually have some kind of, don't know if it's some kind of physical reaction or something, but anyway, saying something makes a difference. So yeah, your words can influence things, and you've got to think, do you want to be limited by people's words, or do you want to be limiting somebody by your words? That's an important thing to think. And it just might help us all be more careful with the way we word things and what we say to people or even about people. So some examples, and the thing is, it's not anybody's fault. It's kind of just the way that we've been brought up. It's kind of in our society, it's ingrained in our society just to be negative. So we say things like, oh, you'll never afford that. But who are we to know whether that person will actually be able to afford it? We say weird things like that, or, oh, you don't want to be doing that. And often we'll say that when we don't even have any extra information. We don't have the whole picture. We just say it anyway, just because it's something to say, even though actually we might be limiting that person, and then in the future they might do it to themselves and think, oh, well, I'll never be able to afford that, or oh, I could never do that, because it's there, it's already been put out there. So instead of saying, oh, you'll never afford that, if you don't think they could afford it, you could say something like, well, how are you going to afford it? Because then you're not saying that they can't do it. What you're doing is getting their brain to think about how one day they will be able to afford it. Just by changing it slightly, you're kind of opening up the possibilities and you're not limiting them, or you're not limiting yourself. So I think the key thing is it's a lot more influencing than we actually think that it is, what we say and the words that we use. So it's really useful to think that, especially if you've got small children as well, because I mean, we're at a stage where we've got our daughter is 3 in 4 months, so she's so like she believes everything we tell her, and our other daughter is 6 months, so we're thinking about this a lot, like what are we saying to them, you know, and we try and say to them, look, you can be anything, you can do anything you want to be, but it's just about being really aware of what we're saying to ourselves and what we're saying to each other and what we're saying to our children and other people in our circle. So I was thinking as well, like leading questions, we're so good at that, and if you used a leading question in a courtroom, you'd be in a lot of trouble. If you said something like, you don't like peas, do you? But why do we say that? Because what we want them to say is, no, I don't like them. But what happens if they did like them? What happens if we want them to like peas, but we're just saying, you don't like them, do you? If we just sort of left it open, hopefully this time they're going to say that they like peas. Now, why am I talking about peas? I've got a toddler and she hasn't talked about peas, but it's that kind of thing. Like, she'll like onions, and then as soon as she's full, yuck, I don't like it. But if we say to her, oh, you don't like onions, do you? Then she's going to say, no, I don't. And that's it, she won't like them forever. So it's the way you say things as well, or, you know, it can get a bit more serious, or you don't like work, do you? But if we say to her, oh, you don't like onions, do you? Then she's going to say, no, I don't. And that's it, she won't like them forever. So it's the way you say things as well, or, you know, it can get a bit more serious, or, you know, it can get a bit more serious, or, you don't like work, do you? or you don't like school, do you? But why do we say those things? We should be saying, do you like school? And hoping the answer is yes for a start. In fact, one example where I have done this, which I think, and this is, I suppose, I've not really thought of it in this way, it's just sort of come to me now. But my niece used to be scared of the hand dryers in toilets. And I said to her, and she says, oh, I'm scared. And so I said to her, I said, well, when you're 4, you won't be scared of those. And she wasn't long off 4, just planting in her mind that when she got to 4 years old, she'd be okay with hand dryers. Instead of saying, oh, you're scared of them, aren't you? You're scared of them. Because then she might have been scared of them forever. And it's just really interesting how we can influence with our words in a good way, in a positive way. And I think that's like where all the affirmations come from, and the affirmations that you say, and that's how they happen, because it actually does work, it actually does influence. So all I wanted to say